exercise or moving. The more we move and stretch, the better off we're going to be. So these are a couple stretches that you can do, especially if you sit. This is a really good one. It's called Y, W, T, and L. So the way that we do this one, we're going to pull the shoulders back, pull the head back, and it's almost like doing the YMCA. So you're just reaching back like this, so Y, pulling the hands back, pointing back as far as you can. Then W, squeeze the shoulder blades, pull the head back. T, and then L. And then this is like the exact opposite position of what we're going to end up in during the day with typing. So this is a really important stretch to do. If you're working on a computer, you want to get up every hour, every couple hours and work on this stretch. The cat stretch, this is going to work the muscles through the middle of the body. Just drop, arching our back, dropping our belly down. Really works well for stretching out the spine. And then the most important exercise for the low back is going to be the bridging exercise, where we're laying on our back, lifting our hips up off the ground. So if you're having any type of low back pain, this exercise right here is going to help you out, because a lot of low back pain comes from the muscles not being strong enough there. You can build up some strength there. It's going to make a big difference on low back. A little bit goes a long ways on this exercise. So a couple times a week, a couple sets of 10 is plenty. We don't need to do this every day. We don't need to do it multiple times a day. A couple times a week is plenty. So, other ingredients for good health: exercise, positive thoughts, spiritual health, chiropractic, proper diets. We talked about the proper diet. This little model, this little picture right here, the cerebellum is the main part of the brain that runs all the automatic processes in our body. The way that the cerebellum knows how to function is by movement. So as we're moving our body, we're sending information up to the brain. When we stop moving, we stop sending information to that part of the brain. Our brain starts to turn off. So as we had you sitting here tonight, you probably noticed at times you started to feel like you might nod off a little bit. The lack of movement causes our brain to start to shut down. So we're sitting in school, or we're sitting on the couch and watching TV. It's easy because we're not moving for the brain to start to shut down. As we move, we send more information to the brain, to the cerebellum. It controls and balances out the body better. So this is an interesting picture. Let's kind of skip over a couple things here. So the brain and the nervous system are going to regulate and control all the functions of the body. So as we get the brain and the nervous system running better, it can control and coordinate those organs better. And science just found in the last few years, last 10 years, the first evidence of a connection between the nervous system and the immune system. So if your brain and your nervous system is running better, or optimally, you're going to have a much better chance of being healthy. Your immune system will run better. The immune system is necessary to make sure we're not getting cancer and make sure we're not getting infections. So the better that your spine and your nervous system is working, the better your immune system functions. What interferes with the spine and nervous system? Subluxation, where the spine's out of alignment, interferes with that. That's what we're working on here in chiropractic. So the big question, what will cause subluxation? Different stresses: physical stress, chemical stress from eating the wrong things, mental stress. When you're under stress, your body responds in a certain way, causes the spine to shift. So these are just examples of different stressors. So if we have subluxation, where the spine is out of alignment, what does that cause? An interesting study was done in 1921. Anybody heard of this study? Henry Windsor autopsies. 1921, huge study. Henry Windsor, an MD, dissected animals and human cadavers, and he looked at the cause of death. So if you died of a heart problem, he would trace that back to the part of the spine where the nerves come out, they go to the heart, and he was looking for damage on the spine in that section. Interesting results. 96% of the time, he correlated damage to the spine to the disease and the organ that killed the animal or the person. So if you think about someone dies of kidney failure, and you trace the nerve back to the kidney, and you look at that part of the spine, or the heart, or whatever part, they found 96% correlation, and this was in 1921. But I'm guessing that most of us haven't heard of this study. So one of the questions that we want to ask before we leave is, when we look at health, which way do we want to go? So we see two paths here. We see one that kind of coasts downhill and one that goes uphill. And to me, when I first saw this picture, I said I would probably choose this path. This is the easier path, because this is the one that kind of coasts downhill. But when it comes to health, we actually have to choose the harder path, the path that goes uphill. So if we just eat the same foods that everybody else is eating, we kind of take the easiest path, the cheapest food, the quickest, fastest food, that's his path over here, and that's going to lead to declining health. We actually have to work hard to be healthy, which is unfortunate, but that's the route that we have to take. So, interesting study that was done a couple years ago. The only reason I have this slide in there is because we start to talk about costs, especially with the new healthcare initiative. So, we spend $2.5 trillion a year in healthcare right now. 10 years ago, less than $1 trillion. In the next 4 years, it will be double this. What are we getting for our money? So is there a better solution out there? So when we start to look at how are we going to prevent these problems, this guy works for an insurance company. He's a medical doctor. Richard Sarnat is his name. So he's looking at controlling costs. That's the job of the insurance company, control costs as much as possible. And he looked at, over a 10-year period, people that were utilizing chiropractic versus people that were not. And what he found was decreases in hospital admissions, 60% decrease in hospital admissions, people that were going to the chiropractor on a regular basis, 62% decrease in outpatient surgeries, and 85% decrease in drug costs. So if we look at is our goal to decrease costs and spend less money, or what is our goal? If we want to do that, this seems to be a pretty effective way of doing that, is by adding chiropractic to the mix. So there's some reasons why when you decrease drug costs by 85%, there's some powerful people that don't like that. Okay. So we might not hear about that all the time in the news. So if you watch TV, what you're going to see is a lot of advertising for a certain substance that they want to sell you. You don't see chiropractic being advertised. All the money is going towards the drug ads. And I can almost guarantee you can't watch TV for a half an hour and not see a couple of the drug advertisements. So the way that we check people to find out if they have subluxation, we use this technology. We can check to see where there's problems. The cool thing is we can recheck and see where the spine and the nervous system is healing and getting improving function. Some of the newest technology that's available. So it's cool stuff to see. We use it all the time. We need those nerves to function and work better. Even if we're eating the right foods, we need to make sure that the nerves are using the food correctly, breaking down the food correctly, and their body's functioning correctly. So who should get checked? This is the last slide. We check anyone from babies